government's effort in that regard. Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman visited the MMT to assess their readiness to deploy more buses to ease the situation. Managing Director of Metro Mass Transit Limited, Cale Caesar, revealed to the Vice President that the company, which once boasted of more than 1,000 buses, is now down to 478, with just 130 currently in operation and at least 300 grounded.
Our operational vehicles, in the past two that about 400 and something, but as we speak today, we only have operational vehicles about 130 buses. We have unserviceable buses numbering about 227. We have buses that we can service. In fact, those with major faults are about 80. Those with minor faults are about 40. And so in total, we have our 478 fleets of the company. But unfortunately, this company, which used to boast of over 1,000 buses in some time past, today can only boast of about 130 buses that we can route daily. And so our predicament is so glaring.
So that is the MD of Metro Mass Transit Limited, Cale Caesar, there. Now, the Minister for Local Government, Ahmed Ibrahim, has called on the Vice President, Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, to intervene to secure a letter of no objection from the Finance Ministry for a grant from the Spanish government to aid in giving the support or a lifeline to the situation we are in now. The grant, according to the Minister, is meant for the purchase of additional buses for the transport sector. He made the call at a crunch meeting with the driver unions and transport and local government ministers in a move to find a lasting solution to the raging transport crisis in Accra and other major cities across the country. We hear from the minister shortly. First, listen to the Managing Director of the Greater Accra Passenger Transport Executive Operators of Ayalolo, Awodu Dauda, who says the company does not benefit from any government subventions, compelling them to adopt innovative ways to remain in business.
We do not get any subvention, neither do we get any money anywhere. It is the little money that we take from passengers. And we charge, on record, we charge about 70%, 20% lower than normal fares that you have. So for that to take you to town for 10 Ghana cedis, we probably would take like 7 Ghana cedis. And it is out of these monies that we use to pay our staff, to buy fuel, to maintain all these vehicles without getting any money anywhere. Yes. And as I'm talking to Ayololo, we have tried as much as possible. Now you can see most of these Ayololo buses are also having Waka Now, other companies being advertised on them. I don't know whether you have them as a media. It is one of our innovative means of getting money to pay for the fuel. And that's the main reason, since I took over, we have tried to have, right now we have about 4 or 5 companies that are advertising on our buses, and it is giving us very good money to pay for our salaries together with other expenditure.
The Transport Minister, Joseph Bukari Nikpe, has been speaking on this development, and he is attributing the challenges of these two state transport companies to lack of retooling over the past decade.
The Ministry of Transport and their agencies like Intercity, STC, Metro Mass Transit Limited, and by extension, Ayalolo, under the Ministry of Local Government, has not seen any retooling of their vehicles. This has brought pressure on the few vehicles that they are operating. The private sector also, over the years, are not able to renew the fleet they also operate under. And with a lot of activities on our roads, congestion and delays in movement, it has become so difficult for us to control and manage our traffic situation. The good news is that government is willing, government is prepared to retool our transport companies like the Intercity, STC, the Metro Mass Transit Limited, and Ayalolo under the Ministry of Local Government.
Well, we can now listen to the local government minister on what arrangements they are making to procure some additional buses and why they need the Vice President's assistance.
When I assumed office as minister responsible for local government, I called Ayalolo boss. We gave you 200 buses in 2016. 2014. Tell me, how many buses have you added? He said 0. And I said, tell me why I should allow you to be there. If 200 buses, they are all depreciating, they are all running down. You are not increasing the fleet. Then, based on that, step aside. A new boss came in. And, Your Excellency, what I will need from you, when the new boss came in and realized the problem, he went to Spanish embassy. They wanted to give us a grant. All that they needed was for the Minister for Finance to give a letter of no objection. We followed, and I think with your presence, it will be given. If that one comes, the current ND of Ayalolo buses will get a grant of 1 million euros to be able to augment the fleet of Ayalolo. And we will need your intervention for the Minister of Finance to give that letter of no objection. The Spanish ambassador has been following me for that. We need that one.
So that's is the Minister for Local Government, Ahmed Ibrahim. My colleague Fatau Bayaga has joined me in studio because he is being on this tour with the Vice President. Fatau, we know that there is a current arrangement to procure some 300 buses from Egypt as part of efforts to fix the situation. But the driver unions at this meeting have some concerns about the situation. Tell us more.
Brace, so this meeting brought together key private transport companies or unions, including the Ghana Private Transport Union, GPRTU, the Ghana Road Transport Coordinating Council, the Concerned Drivers Union, among other key, private unions in terms of in the private transportation system. And the drivers raised some very key concerns, including lack of finances to be able to operate, unlike STC and Metromas, these companies mostly get some budgetary allocation. They are also calling for that in order to keep their vehicles on the road. But on the issue of the 300 buses, in fact, they say that before the NDC exited power in 2016, they were part of the team that went to Egypt to inspect some buses. The buses they saw in Egypt were in good condition. They came back to the country, Brace, and then the buses were then delivered. But those buses that were delivered were not up to standard. In fact, many of them could not even operate. Right, and that was a very big concern for them. So they're saying that now that government is considering
these buses from Egypt
that were shipped into the country.
But that's the same place we're going to buy the 300.
We are going back to Egypt to get these 300 buses. So they seem to be a bit concerned, and they're saying that maybe some due diligence should be done because they don't want to maybe experience what was, what we saw in 2016 when these buses were imported and then they were not able to operate seamlessly. We can take a lesson to them.
The issues we were having and contending from 2023 and 2024 seems to be repeating itself. Whenever there's a budgetary allocation and then they go to share, they allocate how much they'll give to Metro Mass, how much they give to STC, and forget us. The buses they had brought to us from Egypt were highly compromised in terms of quality. What we went there as a delegation and inspected and was brought was the engine, 6-cylinder engines were inspected, came down as 4-cylinder engines. The axle width and then the air conditioning motors were all compromised. So it didn't yield the results it was supposed to have yielded. We mentioned this to him. And again, we said that our problem is that from where we had met in 2016, I'm talking now, all the cars are now old. People complain.
All right, now the Vice President had some responses to give, right?
Absolutely, Brace. He said that she said that the government is working tirelessly to immediately procure some high occupancy buses to augment the current fleet and addressing the recent challenges. In fact, she says that the government is not oblivious to the fact that the country, particularly the capital, is facing some transport challenges and that this particular challenge would soon be addressed.
His Excellency the President has asked me to assure all of you that he will give support to Metromas, Ayalolo, and the private sector. And the private sector with new high occupancy buses in order to augment the services in the medium term. We also have plans to ensure that those that need to be repaired, that the process will be expedited to ensure they can put more buses on the road as soon and as quickly as possible. So my plea is that let us continue to work together to develop a transportation system that prioritizes fairness, efficiency, excellence. And I know and you know that we can. We are relying on each other to make that possible.
This is Top Story brought to you by Telecel Holding Insecticide Spray and Coil, and also by Shield Pension Trust. Now, let me bring in Godfred Abuberi. He is GPR2 General Secretary, and also Alhassan Ibrahim is member, Ghana Road Transport Coordinating Council. Let me start with you, Godfred. Now, you've heard the Vice President saying that the government is giving assurance that they will do what they can to ensure that there's some respite in the sector. But can you tell us? We know that fuel prices are going down. We also know that at least the city is stabilizing. Many people are expecting that things will be on the low. Mr. Alhassan Ibrahim, let me start with you. Why are transport fares still on the rise?
Thank you very much. Good evening to you and good evening to our listeners. The price. The fare of the distance fare is not start from today.
Can't hear them at all.
Are you hearing me?
I can hear you. I'm with you.
Okay. Come again with your question.
No, I wanted to find out from you that once inflation is down, exchange rate is down, fuel prices are going down, all of us as citizens expect that things will rather be going down. Why is it that in the case of transportation, fares are on the rise?
It's true. Fares are still as it is, but it's not only the price of the fuel that is an component of increase in the fare. Let's come back to there are some now. If you go to the market like Abosokan and the rest, there are some parts are still the sellers are not able to reduce the price. Let's example like our battery and insurance and other.
But Mr. Alhassan, that's what you're talking about is one component of what you say you use to determine your fares. The other things that you consider, because in the past when we've spoken to you, you've mentioned the cedi depreciation. Today, the cedi is rather strengthening. Fuel prices are on the low. So why will you just use spare parts to justify why some of your drivers are increasing their fares?
Really? Yes, it's true. Some of our drivers, but it's not all the time because we have regulation for it. Most especially the Ministry of Transport, more or less called the GRTCC and the GPR2 together so that you see the modalities in it, so that you see where we can do it. But as you said, some of the drivers, not all of them, but we'll be still educating on them that now that the price is down, we are looking forward that going forward something will do to it.
But the spare parts dealers have even debunked your claims that spare parts are still high.
Hello?
Can you hear me, Mr. Ibrahim?
Uh-huh.
I'm saying that the spare parts dealers have debunked your claims that price of spare parts are on the high.
Yes. The prices of the spare parts, we won't take only one spare part. As indicate to you, there are some components. Let's take it, spare parts and the rest. It's not all because we have seen now that we have seen some of the spare parts have declined. But going forward, we have the executive that will sit down to it that now today, if you go to the pump, like example, like going like this, this evening, I've monitored on the social media, it has dropped to 9.99%. 9.99 cedis per Swiss. So going forward, I think other executives like GPITU, Ghana Road Transport Coordinating Council will sit down to it and see how best we can do to support our citizens.
But why don't you have your cars on the road? We understand people are struggling to get cars. Why do we have this shortage?
Yes, today the cars. You see, most of our cars, about almost 40% of our cars, for our cars are grounded at the shop. and just few of them. And you see, nowadays you could see about 2 to 3 years coming now. Most of our cars the cost is high. We cannot afford to buy it. So now that if the only thing that we can afford to buy, you still maintain the old one. Yes. So now we have a little deficit of cars in the system.
All right. Stay with me. Let me bring in Godfred Aboberry, General Secretary of the Ghana Private Road Transport Union. Godfred, the government is giving assurance that they are doing everything they can to ensure that passengers are able to move freely. Now they are looking at empowering the public sector transport operators to ensure that they have more buses on the road. Doesn't that threaten you to say that let's then do our best to ensure we cure it even before government comes in? Hello, Godfred.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you. You were speaking, I was not hearing you.
Okay. So, first off, what do you make of what the Vice President just said, that they are doing everything they can to empower the transport operators to ensure that there are more cars on the road?
Oh, well, it's a good idea. I don't think we will have so much to object to that. And this has not been the first time of such an intervention. From where we all joined the transport business, City Express, OSA, and all, were all part of some group of fleets that supported public transport. That hasn't changed anything. But the question that we were trying to respond is that the particular reason why all of a sudden this particular year after Christmas, this artificial shortage has come, and then people are now even queuing from about 4 hours yet to get means to back to their homes. That's the key question which we're all trying to look for answers today.
Okay.
But government thinks that the shortage is coming from the private sector transport, and they want to support public sector transport to augment their fleet. We don't have a problem with that.
But you agree that there's artificial shortage. You just said that.
That is what I even at the meeting I said that the media publication said that GPSU have created artificial shortage. And then we said that let's underline this word, artificial. Can someone come out with his car and decide to go and park in the house just to create that shortage? And meanwhile, he's supposed to go multiple trips to make money to go and feed his wife and his children, and he will go and park the car somewhere to create that shortage just for people to suffer or people to charge more. Which one is the case?
So what is the challenge? You're not getting mechanics to work in your cars, or you're not getting money to take your cars to the for the mechanics to work on them?
Around September 10th last year, when we met the president at the Jubilee House, we raised this matter. And we said that for about 8 or 10 years ago, which was 2016, that they had ordered some cars from Egypt for that, this Matlock Isuzu buses, which were not even brought in the right standard that we saw them at Egypt. And now, apart from then, up to now, all the cars that were running up to now are all old cars. So they will run 2 days, for 1 full week they are at the shop. So it is something that we had made the president and raised that issue, and thinking that we could also get some kind of support and get either through a bank guarantee to get some buses to augment our fleet. We had raised this matter before the president, and then he assured us that he got us some support. Today, I repeated the same thing before the vice president.
But the vice president is also giving assurance that they're going to help you, not so?
Yes, he did the same thing. He said that the president has in mind, whereas he has the intention to support the public sector transport, equally he had the same in mind to get us some support, some cars. Maybe he said high occupancy, that's the word he used. She used high occupancy buses to support our fleets that can carry more people on each route, day in, day out. And we applaud that.
And so that gives you some assurances?
Exactly so.
Was there a timeline as to when these buses will come to support you?
No, there was no timeline. The fact is that We had early on done some arrangement, and then we had to move to China. We were sent to China, I believe last year, November 18th or 19th, and went and inspected some particular company called Cherry, who produced this kind of high occupancy buses and then some EVs. So we came back with a report. Now looking at how government will look at it and see by which bank that they place that guarantee for the buses to be brought into Ghana.
So from
that discussion on the way.
Okay. These buses are on their way?
No, that discussion is on the way. Okay. Until the guarantee is presented, the company will not ship in the cars.
Okay. So you are looking for government guarantees to ensure that you get these buses?
Certainly.
How many buses are we looking at?
We are looking at 100 bus vehicles in number, 200. 100 should be the fossil fuel engine cars, and then the rest will be split between the EVs, saloon cars, and the EV minibuses.
And this will be for the GPRTU?
May not be for, when the government brings it, may not all be for GPRTU.
Oh, okay. So government should be bringing these cars in.
Yeah, so may not be all for GPRTU.
Okay. So if I understand, okay. So, but when it comes to GPRT, when will we see fares dropping? Fuel prices have been coming down consistently for some days now. CD has stabilized and all of that.
I agree with you.
When will we see some?
The appears these days we've seen that fuel has come down about twice. And today, I think today or so, either today or yesterday, it has dropped again.
We're told today. So like 3 times in a row.
Yes. But if you combine, they see our problem that we normally go and meet with the minister is that when the reduction meets up to about 10% or the increment goes about 10%, then it can call for a lot of a reduction or a lot of an increment. That's what normally happens. It's not about just when it drops 1 and 2, the following day, the country requires fair reduction. No.
But it was around 12, right?
Yes.
And now it is 9. That's more than 10% reduction, not so?
Yes, so that is one-sided. That's the full side. But when you look at insurance companies, they've increased. Tax have increased. Assemblies have all reviewed their fees.
But you don't get insurance, or you don't go for insurance every day. The element that you buy every day is
insurance now, per our discussion with them, every January, they review insurance premiums by 10%.
I get it. But if my insurance is to expire in August, the argument that the cost of insurance is part of the reasons why I cannot reduce my fare doesn't hold. Not so.
No, I'm only saying that is not the actual base. It's inclusive, not that. When we are doing our fare calculations, we have these are factors or indicators that we normally do our survey and submit to the minister for them to at the study before they can come out with a decision. They don't be granted on only one item, like you are emphasizing on the insurance.
Okay, help me with the components.
Oh, the components are many.
What are the primary ones?
Like you mentioned fuel, and I mentioned the fees for assembly. I mentioned the tax. I mentioned the spare parts, and I mentioned lubricants. These are some of the things we normally do. They are the daily things that vehicles will have to be used before they run on the road.
You don't pay taxes daily. You don't pay taxes daily. I'm not sure you buy spare parts on a daily.
And I'm saying that per the period of these discussions, when those indicators have increased, we consider them. When they have not increased, we don't consider them. It's not obvious that you look at it and say, once we are talking about fair increment or fair reduction, by all means next year tax will increase or the end of the year tax will increase, then no, we don't do that.
So you're saying that for reduction in fares, we cannot expect, you don't know when in the immediate we are going to have that.
No, for what we are seeing today, we will subject ourselves to a meeting by Monday before we meet the ministry on this matter.
So you meet the ministry on Monday about the transport fares?
Same issues, all these issues that we are mentioning.
Okay. So shortage and fares.
Yes, shortage and fares. We are going to meet the minister, and so we will hold our own meeting on Monday before we meet the minister around 10 o'clock.
So we should expect that some announcement of a sort will be coming up next week in terms of fare reduction.
That was if the meeting tomorrow will conclude on that, Monday will conclude on that. I believe that's what you want.
Because everybody listening to me who takes public transport is expecting to hear that there's a reduction in transport fares.
That was there. I would not doubt that.
So
I would not doubt that.
So we should look forward to next week.
Yeah, from Monday.
Mr. Godfred Abubray, I'm grateful to you, sir, for joining us.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
He is the General Secretary of GPRT. Earlier, you heard Al-Hassan Ibrahim, member, Ghana Road Transport Coordinating Council. This has been Top Story, brought to you by Telecel Connect and Energies, Holy Insecticide Spray and Coil Enjoy, Holy Sleep, and by Shield Pension Trust into the future with you. My name is Samuel Kojo Brace. Up next is Ghana Connect.